All right, so today is Monday, the 8th of December, 2025. We're having a morning analysis. The year is gradually winding to an end. Now, there are a lot of fundamental events this week, quite a number of them. Looks like we're ending 2025 with so many fundamental activity. Good morning, Mr. Michael Okay, and good morning to every other person on board this morning. Don't worry, I won't go one-on-one greeting people now because our time is just fast spent. All right, so let's get started. So today, Monday, all day, there's no fundamental event today, and the Italian bank is on a holiday, and euro might, move very slowly this week. So today rather. So let's take note of that. But from tomorrow, there will be a lot of fundamentals as early as 4:30 a.m. Nigerian time. There'll be cash rate from Australia. Cash rate is the same as interest rate. It's going to come up. Morning, Madam Onaji. Cash rate is coming up by 4:30 a.m. tomorrow, simultaneously with RBA rate statement. That's Reserve Bank of Australia interest rate statement. Later on by 5:30 a.m., there'll be RBA press conference. So volatility is expected on the Australian dollar tomorrow morning from 4:30 to 5:30 a.m. I will only just touch on the important, news events so as to save our time. Now, on the same Tuesday, the other key events that we're going to expect, like all the speeches are actually key events because they can lead to volatility. Like 10 a.m. tomorrow, the Bank of Japan Governor Ueda will give a speech. And for the United States, there will be ADP weekly employment change. This might move the markets, but then it's still tentative. So no specific time yet. That means it can happen anytime in the course of the day, or if eventually we see a specific time allocated to it. Now, the other important event tomorrow, Tuesday, will be JOLT job openings and JOLT job openings also. Both of them. Okay, this is showing September data. All right, that means this event did not take place in September, has been pushed forward till tomorrow. And the one for 4 p.m. tomorrow might be the one for this month. But generally, job opening is taking place tomorrow. So two data simultaneously, possibly. So I want us to take note of that. So these are the important events for tomorrow, Tuesday. And on Wednesday, President Lagarde from European Central Bank will give a speech by 11:55 a.m. This will impact upon the market. And 2:30 a.m. there'll be employment cost index. Now you can see that I'm marking the employment news because they are all important. It's not only NFP that is important when it comes to employment. Other employment data are also important. Yes, they may not be as volatile as NFP, but then they are still very important. So there'll be employment cost index from US by 2:30 p.m. on Wednesday. And there'll be Bank of Canada rate statement, overnight rate, Bank of Canada press conference, all on Wednesday between 3:45 to 4:30 p.m. So we're expecting a lot of volatility on the Canadian dollar due to this news event, and most importantly still tomorrow, on Wednesday rather, we're going to have federal funds rate from the US, FOMC economic projection, and FOMC statement. This is the main FOMC. It's coming up on 8 p.m. by 8 p.m. on Wednesday. Please take note of that. And 8:30, there'll be FOMC press conference. So FOMC is coming up this week on Wednesday by 8 p.m. It's very important. Take note of that. And on Thursday, our activity will start by 1 a.m. from Australia with employment change and unemployment rate. This is Australia's version of NFP. So volatility is expected on this particular event. And that's actually the major event for the day, except for the unemployment claims from US by 2:30 p.m. And finally, Friday. The key event on Friday is the GDP, gross domestic product uh from the United Kingdom, which will come up by 8 a.m. So let's take note of that. And please take note that NFP was supposed to take place last Friday, but it didn't. It wasn't on the forest factory. But then by next week, Tuesday, there will be the last NFP for the year. So please take note of that. We're going to keep, sending reminders in our groups. Next week, Tuesday, that will be 16th of December. That will be the last NFP for the year 2025. Now, NFP is non-farm payroll. You can see it here. This is December 16. I've switched to that page. December 16th, there will be average hourly earnings. There'll be non-farm employment change. There'll be unemployment rate. Though there are other news events like core retail sales simultaneously with this. So a lot of volatility is expected on the dollar next week, Tuesday. But why am I talking NFP? Because it's one of the major news events that we trade live at PU Prime. We trade two live events at PU Prime, NFP and CPI. Those are the two. We've done it now for close to 3 years. Don't miss it. We're going to be making money live. You can make the money for Christmas next Tuesday with our live trading. So don't miss it. Don't miss it next week, Tuesday for NFP. The time, the news will be released by, let's check again. It will release by 2:30 p.m. So that means we're going live by 2:15 p.m. So if you don't have trading capital in your account now, go ahead and fund, anticipating that data next week. Tuesday is the last NFP for the year. All right, I've gone through the fundamentals. Let me just go straight to the charts. For those who are just joining us, we're having an analysis, and there is no fundamental data for today. There's none. So we're just looking strictly at the chart. And somewhere on the chart too, the market is very, very quiet. But notwithstanding, I have three setup I want to show us. The first, as usual, is the dollar index. The dollar index still remains bearish, still remains weak. From our previous analysis of a downward trend and a resistance and a breakout downwards, everything is still screaming, bearish movement on the dollar index. I need to do a little confirmation again with my Fibonacci tool so that we can be sure it's not trading around at a resistance or a support level. Okay. All right, all good. So before anything that could change the direction of the market, at least price still has the potential of dropping to this Fibonacci level. So we're still on a downtrend on the dollar index. We're still very much on the downtrend on the dollar index. So with that in view, we're looking at now somehow it's not that's actually on the daily time frame, but then I have my projections for a couple of these instruments that I'm looking at. So dollar index is bearish. However, at the moment, an instrument like gold, I am seeing the possibility of a bearish movement on gold. Also, it may be a short one, but that is what I'm seeing on gold. Now, this is gold on the daily time frame. The market closed last Friday as a bearish rejection candle. That is giving us technically a possibility of a reversal. You can see it's at a resistance level. A rejection candle at a resistance level is bearish one. But you can see that today's candle looks green. Yeah, that means that is just a retracement. We're currently experiencing a retracement before we have a reversal to the downside. So let's go to the 4-hour. On the 4-hour, what I'm actually seeing on the big picture is what looks a lot like a head and shoulder, which will lead to a downward movement at a resistance zone. And if that plays out, we can have our line there as the neckline region. So we'll be looking out for a bearish movement. Like I said, this current bullish movement is actually a retracement. I'm expecting price to turn downwards uh, after a while. So, but then how do you trade this? I'm flipping down to 1-hour time frame now. All right. So on 1 hour, if price breaks out below this recent low with RSI below 50, right, possibly MACD already below zero. That's a good one. So if price will reverse and break out below this current low, then we'll see a bearish movement on gold. So please watch out for a bearish movement on gold in the course of today and bearish on gold. Now the other instrument I have, which is the second one, is the NZD-USD. And this is the reason why I'm bearish on this instrument. On the daily time frame, the market closed on a resistance level for last week. We have a valid resistance, the candle for Friday. Today's candle is testing the resistance. That if that level is unable to hold, then we can reverse down to 1 hour. So on the 1 hour, we have a rising wedge pattern. So if price is able to reverse and break out downwards on the lower side, then we're expecting a further breakout to the downside on the 1 hour. RSI should cross below 50 and possibly MACD too. If you can cross below zero, that would be a better one. So we're bearish on the NZD USD on 1 hour. Now this is against my outlook on the dollar index, which is bearish at the moment, but notwithstanding, that's what I'm seeing on the NZD USD. In technical analysis, we focus on what we're seeing. We're studying the chart, so that's what I can see at the moment. I'm bearish on both the NZD USD and gold on 1 hour. And these are the two analyses I'm seeing for now. All other assets are not aligning at the moment, so I'm not really going to talk, about them. Then I just want to give you a little update on some instruments I analyzed last week, Friday, uh, which came out just in line with the analysis. I think we did a GBP card. Yes, I mean GBP card was, if you remember the analysis on Friday, where we had a head and shoulder, and we were expecting the news from Canada, where I said if the data comes out good for the Canadian dollar, we expect a breakout. As at the time I posted the updates, your groups, I think price was just somewhere around here. Later in the course of the day on Friday, it dropped further to well over 140 pips on the NZ on the GBP card, and I think the other one should be the Euro card. Yeah, there's a Euro card, also a massive breakout. So please, I will give all this analysis, like I always say, the ones I give you myself, I regard to them as the tier one analysis. Pay a lot of attention to them, because I take my time. And the same thing also, the other analysts at PU Prime, we take our time to analyze these specific instruments before we come online to share them with you. So that's going to be all from my end this morning. You know, it's a short one, but then we only trade when we see setup. For now, the market is still in a very quiet state. And please watch out also as we gradually approach the end of the year. There's a possibility that volatility might reduce in the market. So please trade with a lot of caution. But most importantly, trade, according to the guide that we provide you. All right, that'll be the end of the analysis this morning. GBJPY, I'm saying it, the market is quiet. The market is quiet, but let me just oblige you. But if there's nothing there, I need to stop the analysis. You're welcome, Toichiro. This name looks familiar, but it looks like you've been away for a very long time. So if that's the case, you're welcome back on board. You can see EVJPY is in a range. The market is in a range. So possibly in the course of today, maybe some of these instruments will start giving uh projection of possible movement. Okay, you're welcome back. But then it means you need to learn. That's the truth. And you can go to our academy. You're going to learn there, and always join all this online session. And you can watch our videos on YouTube also, quite a number of educative content there. And if you're on the platform this morning, you are yet to subscribe to the PU Prime Academy, PU Prime Africa on YouTube, just go ahead and subscribe. I dropped the video last week, Friday, 7 mistakes made by beginner Forex traders. If you're a beginner, which I believe many of us on the platform are this morning, you need to watch that video to give you insight on the things you need to watch out for, to become a profitable trader, to the mistakes you need to learn to avoid so that you can become profitable overall. AA BTC USD. Nothing at the moment on BTC. You know, I took my time to go through all these assets. Please mute your device. TMC FX. Okay, that's going to be the last one in TMC FX. Okay, Bankole Kayode. Thanks, Mr. Rotimi. Your support and resistance training was top notch and really helpful. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that. Mr. Wasiu Shobande, just I don't know which of our platforms you belong to. If it's a WhatsApp group, the last link I dropped last Friday was the video on 7 mistakes made by beginner trader. Click on that video to take you to our YouTube channel, or you get there, subscribe, so you can see more of those kind of videos. And even all this analysis, we do upload them, on the WhatsApp. I'm sorry, on the YouTube channel. It's from there that we now send to the groups, so you can always, watch from there also. Just a second. Okay, so I've said it for BTC. There's no clarity at the moment, and just a minute. Let me just see for that to YouTube if I can drop it here. Okay, so all right. So that's our YouTube channel. You can go there. A lot of quality content. You can watch from there. I will also do drop in the groups also, but it's good you're also on the channel. And when you watch a video on the channel, always drop a comment. Encourage us. Let's know you're watching and you are getting some value from what we post. Okay. Lastly, I'll look at AED card and we should be done. Don't worry, in the course of the day, if the market starts moving and we can see opportunities, definitely we'll let you know. Okay, AED card is actually one of those instruments I said will go bearish last Friday, but the focus was more on the Euro card and the GBP card. AED card likewise can see a massive drop due to the news effect of the news. Somebody actually asked a question on this AED card, and I did say that it was going to crash, and we've seen the crash. Though let me go on the daily time frame and see if there's going to be further bearish movement, possibly today. On the daily time frame, we can see it hit a resistance on the daily last week. All right, and we end up with what is looking a lot like a bearish, as in the last week closed with a bearish engulfing candlestick pattern. All right, so it's possible today for it to have a retracement. With a bearish engulfing candlestick pattern, we should expect further bearish movement, but then there's no need to the market may be quiet, so I'm expecting we may see a retracement. It's trying to form like another head and shoulder, then it may break out further downwards. But this is what I would advise if you want to, for the person asking specifically, if price is able to break out below this minor support, then we will see a further bearish breakout. So that's our area of interest. RSI is clearly below 50. MACD is clearly below zero. So it's still in the bearish zone. Only we need a new candle to break out below this current support zone. So we're still bearish on the AUD card. So that's for TMCFX. Okay, so with that, we've come to the end of the analysis this morning. Just watch out in the groups. If there's any update on any instrument, we'll definitely let you know. And like I announced earlier, NFP, you're welcome to TMCFX. NFP comes on next week, Tuesday by 2:15 p.m. Plan to attend. Ready to fund your account to be on the platform with us to trade live and catch peeps as we end the year. All right, take care. Have a wonderful week ahead. Bye-bye.